tiempo del
¿Sabes
juego.
qué? ¿Qué lo que? ¿Qué lo que? Where you listening from? Where you
So,
listening from?
what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm feeling good, man. You know, fresh off a win. ¿Qué lo que? ¿Qué lo que? ¿Qué lo que, mi gente?
Okay. Settle
Where
down.
my
Settle down.
blaugranas at? Vamos,
Settle
schoolers.
down. So this is episode 2. We're gonna break it up into some bits. We're gonna, of course, talk Champions League, which just happened this weekend.
You know, we got to. We got to.
And we'll look forward to some of the matchups. And then we got a real interesting music segment today. Top
Stay
5
tuned for that.
bad
Check it
bunny
out.
songs for each
Check
of
it
us.
out.
Top 5 bad bunny songs. So that was really difficult.
Down there. Holla.
So we will get started with the Champions League. We'll start with the game,
Yes, sir.
the first game on Friday, Madrid and Man City. All right, we cut early. So yeah,
I gotta say, man, this for me was probably the game I was looking forward the most, man. I was thinking about this game. I was getting goosebumps. You know, especially with Madrid coming fresh off La Liga
win,
winning La Liga, and you know, Man City hadn't been looking too good, you know, these past weeks, you know, and it's like, okay, Man City got the 2-1 win in the first leg, but you know, they're not the same Man City as, you know, before quarantine. So it's like,
and Madrid was really inconsistent before quarantine too. So it was like two different teams again.
It was definitely two different teams.
I think we could say it was kind of disappointing in the end of the game. Like it wasn't.
I agree.
In the end, it wasn't as exciting as we thought.
It wasn't exciting as we. I mean, I don't think we can speak for ourselves, but I think we can speak. We can speak not just for ourselves, but for everybody out there, for every soccer fan out there who was looking forward to this game. It was a letdown, so to say.
Man City in the end beat Madrid 2-1, 4-2 on aggregate overall. I don't know. Where do you want to start in the game?
No, I mean, for me, I want to ask you a question. What was more of a letdown? You think, you know, and we can talk about it. We know how the goals came about. We know, unfortunately, you know, Varane, not just him, but, you know, if you have to point to someone that he had a bad game.
Yeah,
he have the game. No, he's a great player, a fantastic player, and you hate to see great players like that, you know, have a bad day. But you know, it happens. It's soccer. We're all humans. But you know, we can sit here and talk about, you know, how the goal came. But we all know how this. It's not a mystery. Anybody can figure it out. But what for you? What was more? You know, what was the thing that, you know, beside the way the goals came?
Mm-hmm.
What in this game, you know, made it for you a letdown? What was it that, like, you know, just didn't live up to the hype?
I think the energy was flat from Madrid.
Right.
Like I don't think they were very energetic, and then offensively they did not look threatening at all. I mean, Benzema had, you know, the goal and a few other good chances, but there was, like, for me, there was a big disconnect between like midfield, front three, and really Benzema and like the rest. It was like there was no like good passing play or anything. And then they did not deal well at all with the high press of Man City. Like they looked like a deer in headlights. The back line, even like the defending mids like Casemiro and stuff, like they were not handling. They were losing the ball a lot. Courtois didn't look very good when trying to pass the ball out from the back. So that was, I think, disappointing. The kind of the attitude they had. I mean, Hazard, I guess you can point to as someone who was kind of disappointing. We marked on it in the last episode that he really needed to step up if they wanted to have like a chance, and he didn't. I mean, he didn't play poorly, but he didn't do anything to really take them to the next level. So, I mean, that's what I would say was kind of disappointing.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, just piggyback off of what you said. It was from both teams. Yeah, it wasn't just from Madrid, from the side of Madrid. It was from both teams. We expect Man City to be this high flying team. Pep's influence on that team being
Right.
they hold the possession a lot and all of that stuff. But it was even for them. Even from their side, it was flat.
Yeah. No, it was definitely not
and you
like the
and it's proven the way the goals were scored.
Mhm.
Benzema's goal was the best out of the 3 goals, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
But it took away Varane's mistakes, right? You
What's the
could
game look
argue,
like? Yeah.
yeah. What is? I mean, I'm not gonna say argue Madrid's winning this game, but they win the game if you take away the 2 mistakes Varane made.
Yeah.
But Man City, I'm sure they would have come wide without the mistakes from her. They would have maybe changed some stuff up, done things differently. But that's the thing. You could say they were happy with, someone else doing the job for them, and it's not gonna cut. It's not gonna cut
Right.
for the next game and the game after that. You gotta take it into your own hands. You gotta do, regardless of what else is doing, you do you.
Yeah.
That's how you win the Champions League. You can't leave it to the hope for a mistake from the other team, which
No, I think
in this game they did.
I think that they deserve to win the game overall because obviously there was some mistakes with Madrid, but they also did create like a good amount of chances. I think what really they struggled with was the finishing, which we've said about Man City a lot this year, because they had 20 shots, 7 on target, and they had some very clear chances. Like Sterling had a couple, and very very clear.
The Gundogan chance.
Yeah, exactly. So it was they created, but they didn't finish. And then in the end, how they scored was just kind of mistakes in the back. So that's kind of disappointing for them. And I think for you, what you were saying, it's true. Going forward, if that's how they're going to score goals off mistakes and not finishing those clear chances, they're going to struggle as the competition.
And it's, I'm sure Pep knows about this. I'm sure Pep knows it. And I'm sure he's just pulling. If he had hair, he'd be pulling hair. He'd be pulling his hair from all the chances.
He had any hair to pull.
Yo, Pep, if you're watching this, man, I'll come after me. I love you, man. I love you for this.
No, the only thing else I wanted to talk on for me, Zidane's lineup for me was also slightly disappointing. I mean, I understood what he wanted to do. It seemed like he was going for the experience, putting Modric, Cruz, Casemiro, that midfield was very much the experienced midfield.
Yeah.
And then, but for me, I think it wasn't working, and it kind of took him a little bit to kind of switch it up. He only made the first change he made was in the 60th minute with Asensio coming on for Rodrigo, but he didn't switch. I didn't see that as what you needed to switch. I think in the end he brought in Valverde and he took off Hazard and he made some switches towards in the 83rd minute. By then they'd already scored the other goal. So I think if he had made those changes earlier, you can kind of change the dynamic of the game because it wasn't working. Right. It looked flat. Kroos and Modric didn't. I mean, they're great players, but they weren't doing anything offensively. And I think leaving off Vinicius for me was a little interesting because he looked the most electric during the season. So not giving him a chance to make a difference, and then
and that's really also get if you already lose. I mean, if I was on the person on that sideline for Madrid, put in Vinicius. Yeah. You want him to get better, give him that experience, give him those top games, see what he's made of.
Right.
Because this is a guy you've gone to a lot during La Liga.
Yeah.
I think beside Benzema, especially in that attacking, in that attacking group for Madrid, I think beside Benzema, he's our second guy.
Yeah. Yeah, for
he's
sure.
Our second guy.
For sure. I mean, I think they could have. I think they should have brought him in and maybe taken Hazard off, and I think Valverde they should have gone on earlier to give you some spark and help defensively. But in the end, that's how it is, and Real Madrid is out. And
they have enough Champions League anyway. So let's
yeah. I'm glad we won La Liga this year. That's what we really wanted, and that's what Zidane wanted. He wanted that in the end. So
I mean, he didn't look too pissed about not winning that Champions League. I don't think. To be honest, I think going in, I don't think he thought Madrid was going to realistically win.
Yeah, I mean, they were tough. It was a tough situation to go into, anyways, being down already the 2-1. So I mean, against a good team like that. All right, you want to move into what, game 2? Your boys, Napoli and Barcelona, or that's what you want to touch on.
Vamos! Go!
All right, man. So now, since you asked a question about my team, I'm gonna ask you a question about your team.
Bring it, lay it up.
So, do you think this was another example of Messi carrying Barcelona through, like relying on Messi?
So you mean Messi-Lona, as they call it on the streets? Messi-Lona.
Yeah, like, do you think it's an example of like another showing of like, wow, if Messi, without Messi, like they can't do it, like Messi has to do everything? Do you think that was kind of an example of that?
I think in the I want to take a couple steps back, going back to that Liga. I think, it's always good to like look back and look where you are and compare how far you come. And that's what I want to do with the current Barca, especially given the game they played yesterday. You look back, at that Liga's back tournament, or the return after quarantine, and you look at that Barca team and you say, okay, yeah, that Barca team, is very reliant on Messi, and it was Messi really pulling the load. It was Messi carrying him on their back, because nobody, like, not want to say nobody else, but like barely anybody else was helping him out. I'm gonna come out flat and say barely anybody else was helping him out. But compared to then, what we saw yesterday, I'm not gonna say it's a finished product of Barcelona where they should be at. No, it's nowhere near where they should be at. And they should still feel some kind of shame towards the fan. Like, I mean, you should be ashamed, to be honest, of the performance they had given previously. But you look before that game in the warm up, you see Messi huddling up everybody, and he's talking to them. I'm sure. I mean, we don't have the audio of what he's saying, but he's. If I had to guess what he's saying, he's like saying, boys, we owe it to the fans. We owe it to the fans to win. We owe it to ourselves, and more importantly, to the fans to perform today. And that's what they did, especially in that first half.
Yeah.
Especially that, sure. Yes, the first couple minutes were nervy, a little nervy. You saw it.
Yeah.
But after the first 5-6 minutes, I remember the comments. I remember watching the game. The commentator was saying, all right, the first minute out, Barca's got to come out and settle down and play, and they did. Yeah. That's just what they heard him. They did it. You see from the back line to the front line. You see Social Miedo dribble 3-4 players. I thought he was about to go for himself. And I was like, Social Miedo, Ronaldinho. Yeah. But it wasn't. So for me, it wasn't just Messi. You saw Frankie De Jong look good. Grizzly Bear. Well, you call Griezmann. We call Grizzly Bear over here. His game. He's still going through the works. He's still going through the process of becoming a full-fledged Barca player. And I saw something there yesterday, that I didn't see previously, right? His movements. It's not. Yeah, the fans. We want to see the goal. We want to see all this. We want to see him, scoring goals and getting in the box and finishing crosses. But you gotta look close. It was his movements allowed Barca to play the way they did yesterday, and especially now. I'm talking about especially in that first half. He was finding pocket spaces, coming, dropping, picking up the ball, laying off the ball, going away. Interchanging position with Messi and Suarez, and if we want to refine the Barca identity, that so-called tiki-taka that people love to see the beautiful game. You know, we've come to knowing it as. It's all moving. It's moving off of one another in on the field, and we saw some of that. Frankie De Jong did some of that. You know, Jordi Alba pushing forward, but again, tracking back is where we're weak at. But so no, to answer your question, no, it wasn't just Messi. Yes, Messi shown. He does what Messi does. That you saw it. It wasn't just Messi. Yeah, of course. Is he the anchor of the team? Yes, he's the anchor of the team. Right? He's the anchor of the team. Right now, sure, there's no Barcelona without Messi. I'm gonna say it. But it's not. Yes, Barcelona is dependent on Messi, but it's not
in comparison to like.
To compare, yes, good. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. In comparison to what it was before,
it's less. It's like
people,
less.
And I come back to Semedo because before we had never seen this from him.
Yeah.
In La Liga. I'm talking after quarantine. But Frankie De Jong was pulling his own way. I saw it a couple of times. Rakitic was doing stuff. The pass from Frankie De Jong to the goal. That goal outside of the foot pass. Oh my goodness.
That was nice. That was nice. Yeah.
That was beautiful. Unfortunately, the goal got disallowed. But these kind of things where okay, you know, I gotta show what I'm able. I gotta show that I'm worth all that money that they paid for.
Yeah.
We've never seen this. We had never seen these. Suarez doing some Suarez things, you know, still kind of failing.
Play as well as
still kind of flopping.
Yeah.
You know, thankfully he's not biting anybody. That's good. So there's still much to improve, but yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I definitely think that a lot of other people stepped up more than they have in the past. I think De Jong. And then we were kind of surprised when we looked at the lineup in the beginning. You know, no Puig, no.
Yeah, I was surprised.
And I think Rakitic played very, very well. So I was impressed by Rakitic and then De Jong.
Given that
they were really impressive. So I was like, okay, so I see improvement in that aspect. Like they stepped up, and some other players stepped up. So it wasn't totally on Messi. But in the end, I mean, I don't know. Messi, you know, got you your goals in the end,
right? I mean, in the end, you know, he's a big time player.
Yeah,
it's a player when you have on your team. It's like it doesn't matter if you have 10 stars on the other team. If you have him, you know you can win.
And it's important.
It doesn't matter if you have just him on his team and then the other 10 players are average players.
Yeah.
You know you can win.
Yeah. And it's important in a competition like this where it's like where the next rounds are going to be one game. Right. Like, he can really make a difference in one game.
It can make a big difference. Right? In a given moment. You don't see him, but bam, he can appear in a given moment. And that's the gift of Messi, and it's you see it less and less. You know, he's a human being, right? As much as we would love for him to be from another planet, an alien, he's a human being just like any of us, and he ages and he gets wary, and he, and that's one thing that people forget when they see this man play. That's it's like Messi's not performing. Messi, Ronaldo, these guys are human beings, and they take care of. They sacrifice their lives to take care of their bodies and to perform at the highest level. And I command them and I show them all the respect, they deserve. But that's the difference, man. When you got a guy like Messi on your team, it's a difference.
Yeah, but I agree with you. There was definitely like examples in the game of like that old Barcelona with the way they were passing.
For sure.
Messi was connecting with someone. Like I was like, oh, okay, I see it now. Like it wasn't consistent, but it was like at least like very strong moments in the game. And I agree with you. I think the first half, that middle after like the opening minutes of kind of like mayhem, they really dominated that middle portion. And then they gave up the goal right at the end of the half. right?
What irked me is that there was a period of time when Napoli was pushing us back a lot.
Yeah, in the second half.
And we the second half, yeah.
Yeah, when they were dominating. They were dominating the game at that point.
And it was, I don't know if maybe we ran out of gas. Maybe it's because they were fresh off of their league ending, and we had a two-week break. But it was just, we couldn't get possession of the ball.
Yeah.
Or better yet, we gave up possession of the ball. And I was just wondering, there's still a lot of work to be done, but
yeah.
It's almost like, it's almost like, Kike Setier's got to be thinking, okay, what else do we need to work on to be able to come out of the back? Because that's the way they play. That's the way Barca plays, But keep that possession.
Yeah.
Especially when you're thinking about the next opponent.
Yeah. No, that's what I was thinking too, because I think, like, we know, like, it's not like the old Barcelona, like the way they kind of just gave that, like Napoli took the game in the second half, was like dominating possession for long stretches of the game, and Barcelona was kind of sitting back. And I mean, for me, the game was exciting. I mean, Napoli played well. I think they just lacked that like quality in the final third. Like they didn't have that right, because they were creating and getting close and like threatening Barcelona. Like, I mean, people were watching to the end, because we've seen Barcelona in the past kind of.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So our defense tuned in, thinking like, "Hey, this can happen."
Still weak.
But that's why I was like, I mean, I agree with you that Barcelona played better. They showed good things, but then, I mean, it was seventh place in Italy. So we're talking about the next game, who they're going to be playing. It's a lot more quality. So I think they still got to work on a lot if they're trying to move further in the tournament.
It's gonna be a hell of a game, man. It's gonna be a tough game. I'm gonna come out and say it's gonna be a tough game. That we gotta be spot on. We gotta be the best we've ever been. Barca's gotta be the best we've ever been this season to win this game. Yeah. It can't be half. It can't be a game where we come out, we just play first half well, and the second half. No, it's gotta be the whole game. The whole game. Plus, if you're thinking about extra time, maybe. It's got to be the whole game, because they're going to bring it to us. The wingers are going to bring it to us. They're going to be that speed, that ferocity to us. And that's one of the things, you look at Frankie De Jong, Sergio Roberto. These are still young guys, young and experienced guys in the middle of our park.
Yeah.
You add Rakitic experience, a little bit of experience there, but, hopefully we get Busi back. We get Busquets back. Add some of that experience and that calmness in the middle.
Will be back, right?
Yes. So it's gonna be interesting how Kike lines up. And 1 week isn't enough to.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
to like really
get prepared for.
But I think we can win this.
No, yeah,
I think we can win this.
It's anybody's tournament. But I think Bayern might be arguably the strongest team, right now, like left.
Yeah.
So they've been looking good. They made easy work of Chelsea over the two legs.
Yeah.
But even in the game on Saturday, they easily beat Chelsea. So they're looking good. I don't think they have a lot of weaknesses. So
no, they don't.
They are looking good.
One weakness, I was listening to another podcast, and one weakness I would say, I would quote, is not their backline, but their their central defenders, or one of their central, either Boateng or Sula, whoever plays next to Alaba, because they're solid. Alphonso Davies can run for days. He's a strong, big, young defender. Shout
out Canada.
Shout out Canada. Toronto Greenwood. Alaba, another solid defender. Now, whoever plays next to him, know,
That's where.
Boateng, Sula, and on the other side I have Kimmich, another strong player, or whoever, Andre Sola, ex Madrid boy.
Yeah.
So overall, you have Thiago Alcantara in the middle, ex Barca boy. Very, very, I love that guy. Very good, skillful player. And you look at it and it's like there's barely any weakness. And in the goal, you have Neuer,
Yeah.
very good keeper.
And then
Up top,
up front, we know the talent that's up there.
crazy. It's a balanced team. And I think Barca's got to come out and play their game.
Yeah.
They got to come out and play their game, and they can't force it. It cannot be forced.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know if you looked at it a couple times in they try to force the pass, they try to force the pass to goal. So you can't force it. That was the beauty of Barcelona. Thinking about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, the patience.
Yeah.
Right? It was the patience. You bam. You get the other team to move side to side, and when they fall out of sync, that's when you attack.
Yeah.
That's when you break the defensive line right to the middle. Patience.
Yeah.
But the patience come from what? From that middle. It has to be dictated from the middle. We had Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, 3 very experienced guys. Cool and collected, patient. They knew total confidence in their skill that we're not going to let the ball go.
Yeah.
But now, it's a different story. We have young guys in the middle. As you know, being young, we tend to be a patient.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to the game.
It's definitely one of the best matchups in the upcoming games.
Because what happens when you're impatient is you give the ball away and it's a counterattack.
Yeah.
I saw it in the Napoli game. We tried to, in the second half, we were trying to do this counterattacking thing. And I'm like, why are we doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let's move the ball. Let's
create
those little rondos on the field. Right? But it's gonna be a good game. I'm psyched to see it. It's just a shame that it's
gonna be
away. But
it's gonna be interesting.
Yo, Barca fans out there, keep up the dream, baby. Keep the hope alive. Keep praying for Barca.
It's one game. It's one game, so anything can happen in one game. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Right.
You wanna touch on? I mean, I guess the other big story was Juventus winning against
Juve,
but dropping out of the tournament to the French boys, Lyon.
La Vieja.
So I mean, that's a pretty big blow. I mean, we all know that Juve have been spending all this money to be able to win the Champions League.
They literally
this year,
went out and bought PSG's midfielders, Matuidi, Rabiot. They went out and bought. They went out and bought Ronaldo.
Got Ronaldo. They brought in. They brought in
a couple of Madrid. They brought in I think that was Danilo there already.
I think
he might have been already there.
He'd been there, but I mean, and then. So I don't know. It's they spent a lot of money and they couldn't get past Lyon from the French team, which all credit to them though, because they really
Lyon played well. Lyon played well. Young talent on that team. Young talent on that team, and led by Depay up front. And they played.
I think that was the difference too. It's like that young energy that Lyon brought. Like it showed the contrast of Juve is kind of old and doesn't have that spark or that speed.
Pjanic, why did Barca get him? Not gonna be started on that. But I agree with you. It's this young talent be like, all right, you guys are the so-called big shots. Show us you're the big shots, and they didn't.
And they didn't at all.
That first leg, Juve went in there like they can relax and win the game. No, right? It's football.
And that hurt them in the end because they passed on that away goal in the end. So they had really brought it in the first game. They wouldn't have been so
even
pressed him.
regardless of how good Ronaldo was, that beautiful strike in that second
Yeah.
goal, and that's like, whoosh, ooh, mamma
That was
mia.
a nice shot.
That was a beautiful shot. That was,
But
it was like
yeah,
playing
I
soccer
think
fun.
he did his part for sure. I mean, Ronaldo really did do a lot. He had a couple other
Yeah.
chances in the game he didn't finish, but I mean, it just as a team overall, they didn't bring it enough, and they just. I mean, the two penalties were questionable. I think for
But
each. But
we can't not talk about the referee in that game, man. Those
yeah, no, for
penalties,
sure.
we know those
Yeah,
penalties.
both of them
Nah,
were. Yeah, I don't think either of them were. I mean, I
yeah, they
think
were penalties.
the Lyon one, there was like a little bit of question because people were talking about that he was slightly touched, but like the
It's just
other
like
tackle,
it's
but
it's it's
it
it's
wasn't very clear.
it's almost like what is the refereeing and VAR it's just so inconsistent.
Yeah,
It's inconsistent. I don't know what it is. I don't. I mean, VAR. I mean, I'm not a big fan of VAR, but I can see why people say, we needed it. You go back to a bunch of cases where there were goals that's crossed the line, but the ref is too far away, or the line refs didn't see it, or whatever he or she was doing. But I can see why. I can see why. There's been important games where, the ball crosses the line, it's a goal, and the ref says it's not a goal. So, or whatever else happens that the ref doesn't see. Um, it's a personal opinion of mine. I'm not. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. You can have your opinion on what VAR is or what VAR is not. But I'm not a big fan of it.
I think that needs to be like. I think they're still trying to figure out how to implement the rules in connection to VAR and like
Right.
how VAR plays out. Like how much decision does the ref on the field have to like go look at the monitor? How much they're just gonna do from outside and like. And it's still not working well. And I think we've seen that. I think the handball is one of the big ones with the rule, and the implementation of VAR has been difficult. So,
I mean,
yeah,
in the end, it's isn't it the ref's decision?
but it depends on the situation. That's kind of like what the issue is because like the ref doesn't go always to the monitor. And I think
Right.
that the VAR people are supposed to tell him like, okay, this is like kind of a judgment call. You should go to the monitor. If they say like no, then he like listens to them. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like a weird one.
I'm saying even if he goes to the monitor, it's
Yeah,
still
and
his decision at the
it
end.
should be his decision. Yeah,
Right.
I think they should do
So
that
it's not
more
like
because it's kind of like the ref should be the one making the call and not kind of like someone
right.
watching the game from afar. But yeah, it was so disappointing for Juventus. So we're looking, the next
They got
matchup
the
interesting.
they
So
got the maestro now in there. They got the Pirlo.
yeah, they fired their
Pirlo.
coach. Yeah, a day later. I mean, I think
We'll
one of the
see.
reasons also they move so quick is because the season's gonna start soon. So I think they kind of
Right. No, for sure.
really
They
quick.
got to.
So
They
it's
got
like the
to.
day after, it's like you're out of here, coach.
Yeah. Peace.
Um,
Arrivederci.
but yeah, so the next matchups will be Man City, Lyon, Barcelona, Bayern, and then we got the other two that are playing Atleti versus Leipzig and Atalanta versus PSG. Which is the
Yes,
second
that's your
game
your
on
boy. Your
Wednesday.
boy's PSG, right? Your
Atal-
boy PSG.
no, Atalanta. So let's go. So that would be interesting coming this week. So a lot of good games coming up.
No, for sure, for sure. A lot of good games coming up. A lot of good games coming back. I'm
All right,
excited,
man.
man. It's like it makes you appreciate it. Like the gap in the games. It makes you like pay attention to every game. I love it. Love it, man. I love this game.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be exciting, man. So, any final thoughts on the Champions League as we enter the quarterfinals?
No, but who'd you pick? Who'd you pick to win? I mean, you don't have to.
Now with the teams left, oof.
Give me a two. Let's do this. 2 top picks to win.
Two teams that I.
Or who you? Or what? The finals. The what do you think? Which team do you think will be in the final?
Which would be the final? Let me see. Let me look at the. Yeah. Damn. That's tough to say.
It's tough, right?
It's super tough.
Tough.
I think I don't know that the Man City, Barcelona, Bayern side of the bracket.
It's so tough.
That side is difficult to say who will come out of that.
Tough.
I mean, even the other side, I'm not sure. I think Atleti has a good chance of making the final. If they're able to, like we just saw, you were telling me earlier that 2 of their players tested positive, so we don't know who they are yet.
All right, stay home, guys.
If they can stay healthy, they have a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
I mean, I think PSG or Atalanta too. Like those 3 teams, anybody got a shot. You got to win 2 games and you're in the final. So
for sure.
And then on the other side, Barcelona, Bayern. I don't know who to pick between those 2.
Yeah.
And then if Man City can put it together, they can also, like, I don't know. I don't have a pick. I can't even pick right now.
All right,
who do you think?
We'll just let it be.
Yeah, who do you think? You got a firm belief? You don't got a firm belief?
Man, I have no idea. Man, I gotta go for Barca in the final, man. You know we's good. We damn.
I mean, I see it. I can see it happening. I mean, it's not. They're gonna have some tough games ahead, but they can do it. I think they took a good step in the right direction with the game against Napoli. If they can build on that, I think they're going in the right way. So,
vamos a ver.
Barca Atalanta final. I'd be ready for that game. I'd be down for that game, man.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting.
So, all right, man. So that's the Champions League. We're gonna get into music in a bit.
Yep.
Tune into part 2.